Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Frederique Constant Highlife Worldtime manufacturer reference FC-718C4NH6. This watch is widely available from your local Frederique Constant stockist and the official brand website frederiqueconstant.com for €4,795. So firstly, let's look at the box that the watch comes in, and then I'll talk you through the specifications of the piece. So the watch comes in a solid wooden watch box, which is housed inside this outer cardboard box. On the lid we have the Frederique Constant shield emblem, Frederique Constant logo, Geneva and the brand motto, Live Your Passion. So one removes the lid to the base, which is a snug fit due to the vacuum effect, pulls down the flap, and inside the solid wooden watch box is protected in shipping by a piece of foam. So I'll take out the watch box and show it to you. Now, before I show you the watch box, I'm just going to take out the foam protective panel and show you in the base of the cardboard outer box there's a cutout, and that houses the items which I'll show you. So, solid wooden watch box, and you can see teak finish to it, very aesthetically pleasing, matte finish to the lacquer, stainless steel hardware, and there's a drawer in the base which you can pull out. Fully upholstered with contrasting velour fabric, and there are two pairs of elasticated straps which secure the alternative options to the alligator leather strap fitted to the head of the piece. It comes with a bracelet and also a rubber strap, which I'll show you. Very aesthetically pleasing. As you can see, stainless steel hardware including the hinges, and good attention to detail because the base is also lined with felt fabric in black, and the purpose of the felt fabric lining is it prevents the solid wooden watch box sliding around and scuffing and scratching a polished or lacquered tabletop or desktop. Hinge lid, stainless steel hardware as you can see, and the interior is fully upholstered with contrasting velour fabric to good standard, high definition printing of the shield emblem, Frederique Constant logo, Geneva and the brand motto, Live Your Passion. Flawless mirror polishing to the stainless steel hardware, very aesthetically pleasing, and I like the upholstery of it with the velour fabric. So in the base there's a cutout which houses this padded pillow cushion which the watch sits upon, and it's a very snug fit inside the base and therefore does a good job of protecting the watch in shipping from any damage. This is outstanding presentation, one of the best watch boxes I've seen in the mid-tier. So to remind you and clarify, mid-tier is €500 to €5,000 price point, and one has to appreciate we are at the upper end of the mid-tier at €4,795, but still mid-tier nonetheless. Excellent to see a solid wooden watch box. Frederique Constant deserve credit here because they could have taken the less expensive default option of a plastic or cardboard watch box or vinyl or PU leather watch roll. This solid wooden watch box immediately gives the impression that this Highlife Worldtime manufacturer is a high quality Swiss made piece. So with regards to items that come with the piece, it comes with this fold out leaflet. So on the first page, on the left, we have the international warranty. So you can scan the QR code with your Android or iPhone, and that will download the terms and conditions of the 2-year international warranty. Now, to clarify, this piece comes with a 2-year international warranty. However, it can be extended to 3 years after online registration. As an alternative to scanning the QR code, you can simply visit their website, frederiqueconstant.com/pages/international warranty, and download the terms and conditions of the 2-year international warranty via their website. On the right hand page we have the warranty activation QR code, so you can simply scan the QR code to activate the 2-year international warranty by filling in the serial number, and that will extend it from 2 years to 3 years respectively. Alternatively, you can visit their website frederiqueconstant.com/pages/warranty activation. On the back we have the address of Frederique Constant in Geneva in Switzerland and their website frederiqueconstant.com. Now when you open it, there's also the certificate of authenticity, and there's space to fill in the reference number of the piece, the serial number, which is a unique 7-digit serial number engraved into the exhibition case back, date of purchase, and the retailer or authorised dealer can stamp it. Now, we have another QR code. This is for service centre locations. So, if you want to look up your nearest Frederique Constant service centre to service the movement every 5 years, you can simply scan the QR code. Alternatively, visit their website, frederiqueconstant.com/pages/service centre to download the nearest service centre to you. And on the last page, on the right, we have the user manual QR code. So again, you can scan the QR code with your Android or iPhone to download the owner's instruction manual with clear, concise diagrams, instructions in English, detailing the operation of the movement use, which is the Frederique Constant caliber manufacturer FC-718 automatic. As an alternative to scanning the code, again, you can visit the website frederiqueconstant.com/pages/user manuals to download the owner's instruction manual. Excellent. This is comprehensive. They have covered everything. Warranty, terms and conditions, warranty activation, service centre location, and also owner's instruction manual. Everything contained simply via QR codes or alternatively website addresses in this one leaflet. This is an example to other mid-tier brands and other mid-tier micro brands of how to get it correct. One doesn't need a warranty card, one doesn't need a thick owner's instruction manual booklet. This is contemporary, it's modern, QR codes, website addresses, everything covered. And also very good to be able to extend the warranty from 2 years, which is the industry standard for mid-tier pieces between 500 and 5,000 euro, to 3 years, which is excellent. Lastly, one also gets this plastic tag, which has the reference number for the piece, barcode, Frederique Constant Shield. On the reverse, again, it has the sticker with the reference number and the price. So, as I've detailed, this piece comes with an alligator leather strap fitted to it, and as an alternative, it also comes with this stainless steel H-link bracelet, and as an alternative, it also comes with this textured rubber strap, which is integrated. So we'll look at those after, but firstly, let's look at the specifications of the piece. So we have a 41mm case diameter, we have a lug-to-lug measurement of 45mm, a thickness of 13.1mm, and an integrated lug width of 13.9mm. The alligator leather strap is flared and tapered, so at its widest point it's 25.5mm at the integrated lugs, tapering down to 18mm at the deployant clasp. The bridge to the deployant clasp is skeletonized, and also we have a Frederique Constant Shield, which is also skeletonized, flawless mirror polishing to the top side, underside and flanks of the shield, no sharp edges, no sharp corners, beautiful curvature to the bridges and the shield, very aesthetically pleasing, and I like the gauge of it. Now, this could be further enhanced if they added 2 button push triggers on the left and the right hand flanks, because that would make it easier to open. But however, they've got the balance correct, because as you can see, it is very easy to open and it snaps shut with a nice positive click, feels reliable and robust. You don't have to pull on the end of the strap with excess force in order to get it to open. It does have a nice clicking sound and sensation. What I like about it is the inner portion is solid milled 316L grade stainless steel and very low profile and thin, which I'll show you in the wrist shot, and engraved with high definition engraving on the right hand portion with Frederique Constant. So snap shut with a nice positive click, and it's not significantly more bulky than a buckle and tang, which would have been the other credible alternative. Using a deployant gives it a high tier level feel. With regards to the rest of the specification, we have a double dome sapphire crystal with blue AR coating on the underside, and the blue anti-reflective coating does an outstanding job of reducing the glare and the highly reflective nature of the silver mirror polished applied indices and silver mirror polished pencil handset. What I like about the proportions of the indices is they're not too large, but they are clearly legible, and they're loomed with C3 Superlume Nova, as are the pencil handsets. The pencil hour hand is the same proportions in terms of how wide it is, but the hour hand is shorter than the minute hand, so one can immediately differentiate between the two. The pencil hour hand extends to the applied indices, which is correct. The minute hand is longer, which is good, and the second hand has a needle point, and that extends to the circumference of the dial. So the handset is correctly proportioned for the size of the dial diameter. What I like about the dial is they have fitted a lot of information onto the dial. This is a well-timed complication piece, also has a date complication, and they've managed to fit it all in, as well as having a 24-hour inner ring, which is around the globe in the centre, which is embossed. It's a feature or design element of the Highlife series. They always have an embossed globe, and it's good that they fitted that into this Worldtimer version. And what I like about it is the centre section with the embossed globe has a metallic sheen to it. It's sunray pattern, and it's got a lighter brown tone to it, or bronze tone, and that complements the textured subdial. So the subdial at 6 o'clock is for the date complication. What I like about this dial throughout, the quality of the printing is stellar. Make no mistake, we're not looking at mid-tier level dial execution here with regards to the quality of the printing of the letters for the 24 countries on the Worldtime complication, and the letters of the text logo, and also the Arabic numerals on the dates complication. It's sharp and crisp throughout. The font is clearly legible. The printing of the white paint is crisp, and I really like the legibility of it. This is high-tier dial execution throughout. We're not looking at mid-tier dial execution between 500 and 5,000 euro. Frederique Constant deserve credit for this because it's a very well executed dial. So we have 2 rings on the dial. Outer ring is for the 24 countries for the Worldtime complication. Inner rotating ring is for the 24 hours, and there are two portions, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for day and night. Rather like a GMT bezel, for example, a Pepsi bezel in blue and red, the blue denoting night, the red denoting day. This has the brown portion for night, the cream portion is for day. So 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. is the cream portion, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. is the brown portion. So easy to tell which are the 12 hours for the day, which are the 12 hours for the night. Rather like a GMT bezel internally. So, day complication, well-time complication and 24-hour complication. Excellent. What I like about it is the symmetry of the dial, and the other thing I like about it is, although it's a well-time date complication piece, it doesn't have a very thick rehort. It's not very deep. And although it does have a double dome sapphire crystal versus flat sapphire crystal, the rehort is slender. This is good. It enhances the legibility because the sapphire crystal sits close to the handset, sits close to the dial, sits close to the date complication and also the well time complications. The legibility is therefore enhanced. And I like that the rehort isn't too deep because it does give the piece a very aesthetically pleasing look. The other benefit is this piece is only 13.1 millimeters thick, even though it has an exhibition case back, even though it has a double dome sapphire crystal. So let's look at the case and bezel. Domed solid 316L grade stainless steel bezel, flawless mirror polishing to it. What I like about it is the double dome sapphire crystal is low dome. It's not a box top hat crystal, it's got a very low dome to it which almost looks flat, and I like that it's got a bevel on the edge of the sapphire crystal which projects above the bezel. This catches the light, it looks very aesthetically pleasing. They've made the correct decision by using a domed profile to the bezel versus flat profile. This does have nice curvature which complements the tonneau case with curvature. Top of the tonneau case is longitudinally brushed satin finish to a beautiful lustre, and the integrated links in the alligator leather strap fit very well into the scallop or the recess on the end of the tonneau case. So the quality of the transitions is very good, sharp and crisp. There's no mirror polish bevels to the transitions, but they've deburred the crisp edge of the case very well because the transitions are sharp, but they don't feel sharp enough to be rough or scratchy. Mirror polishing to the flanks is stellar. What I like is the curvature of the flanks. We've got nice curvature to the undercut of the tonneau case, but also outward curvature. They've got a convex profile. So to clarify what I mean, the flanks of the case are not flat and slab-sided, as per a Tudor Black Bay Heritage, for example. What we've got here is we've got outward curvature, and this is convex profile rather than being concave. And the outward curvature, or convex profile, complements the domed profile to the bezel, so there's good continuity of finishing here. Absolutely beautiful shape to the tonneau case, the curvature, the undercuts. Now there's a large mirror polish bevel, which deletes the sharp edge on the undercuts to the flanks on the left and the right hand flank. This enhances comfort level and feel good factor. So to put this into perspective, again, what we're looking at here in terms of case finishing and bezel finishing is high tier level, €10,000+ level. We're not looking at mid-tier case finishing on a €500 to €5,000 piece. This is stellar. They deserve full credit for this. Brushed satin finishing is high tier level, mirror polishing is high tier level. No imperfections whatsoever. So, integrated lugs, and as I've detailed, 13.9mm is the integrated lug width, and the alligator leather strap tapers. It's flared 25.5 at the head of the piece, tapering down to 18. Aggressive taper, which does look good. Alligator leather strap is debossed with the alligator pattern. Chocolate brown stitching around the edges matches the suede leather effect. Nice matte finish to the suede leather, very aesthetically pleasing. Two keepers, first keeper is fixed, second keeper is slides, as one would expect, correctly proportioned. The point is very well proportioned. Let's look at it in detail. So we'll check the hinge pins. Left hand portion articulates freely, centre hinge pin articulates freely, doesn't feel stiff or kink, doesn't have excess play, lateral, longitudinal, side to side or up and down. Right hand hinge pin articulates freely, doesn't feel stiff or kink, doesn't have excess play in any direction. Nice and tight. Closes with a nice positive click, snaps shut, opens with a nice positive click simply by pulling the end of it. Flawless mirror polishing to the top side, underside and flanks, no sharp edges to the undercuts, and the centre section has been deburred, no sharp corners, and it's very low profile. What I like about it is the curvature is good. Curvature is good for a 6 to 7 inch wrist, curvature is good for a 7 to 8 inch wrist, which I'll clarify in the wrist shots. It's excellent. So, let's look at the case back in detail. Now just bear with me, I'm going to undo the deployment to show the case back better. Screwed down case back versus a screw down case back. So what I'll do is I'll clarify the difference between a screw down caseback and a screwed down caseback. So you can see there are 4 flat head screws in the corners. This is a screwed down caseback. The caseback is screwed down to the head of the piece. Usually one has a screw down caseback, and the centre section, regardless of whether it's stainless steel, solid, or alternatively exhibition, glazed with sapphire crystal, there's an external thread on the stainless steel portion of the caseback, and that meshes or mates with the internal thread of the head of the piece. That's a screw down caseback, which you're all familiar with dive pieces, for example. They've made the correct decision here by using a screwed down caseback with 4 flat head screws. So why do I say that? Well, the benefit is this has 100 metres of hermetic seal, which is strong specification for a daily wear piece, but it can be made thinner. With a screw down caseback, because it needs to have an external thread on the caseback, which meshes with the internal thread in the head of the piece, the caseback needs to be thicker. The stainless steel portion needs to be made thicker in order to take the depth of a thread being cut into it. That's the point. So this is very thin and low profile. You can see flat sapphire crystal glazing in the centre section is perfectly flat. Mirror polished stainless steel portion has a domed profile and it's mirror polished to perfection, and it's engraved around the circumference with a specification and the unique serial number, which is 7 digits, into the caseback. High definition engraving. The 4 flat head screws are mirror polished and they're flush, so they don't project proud of the caseback, therefore they don't scratch the wrist. Concentric CNC lathe tool machining to the caseback, the stainless steel portion of it, and it has a beautiful lustre to it. So you can see just how flat it is. The benefit of this is it reduces the thickness of this piece down to only 13.1, even though it has a double dome sapphire crystal in the front. This sits very snug to the wrist, and I'll show you in the wrist shot the benefit. The curvature of the tonneau case gives a nice snug fit. Also does a fantastic job of displaying the manufacture calibre. So to clarify what manufacture means Frederique Constant make this movement in-house in Switzerland. It's not a modified or decorated Solita or ETA calibre. This is a manufacture calibre made by Frederique Constant, the calibre FC-718 automatic with a Worldtime complication and date complication. Decoration to the movement is fantastic, pelage finishing, and we've also got a skeletonized rotor in gilt, which is embossed with Frederique Constant and manufacture. It's a highly decorated movement with blued screws. Stellar. So the sapphire crystal glazing in the exhibition caseback is large diameter, large portion, fully displays the beauty of the decorated calibre. Fantastic. Now, end links are excellent. Integrated end links. What I like is the quick release levers have flats, and they are perfectly deburred. Now, often quick release spring bars, for example, will use screws which have slotted heads. Now, the problem with those style of levers is often the slotted screw heads for the levers, they are sharp. And when they're tall, they stick out proud from the spring bar or the end link. And the problem then is they scratch the wrist. These flat heads on the levers are perfectly smooth and they're low profile, so therefore they don't scratch the wrist. They are better finished than slotted screws, which are the other alternative for quick release stainless steel spring bars. This makes exchanging this alligator leather strap for the alternative bracelet and the rubber strap included very easy. You don't need a spring bar tool, you simply depress both levers. It's excellent quality finishing, high to level. So let's test the crown execution and then I'll do a wrist shot, so just bear with me. I'm going to size this to its maximum size. So easy to engage the spigot or pin into the hole, and it closes very nicely because on the end we've got a rivet head on the spigot and that prevents it accidentally coming out of the hole. So it's very secure. Snap shut with a nice positive click. I like this deployment, feels good. So knurled crown, solid 316L grade stainless steel, large chamfer which deletes the tips of the knurling, and it's embossed with the Frederique Constant shield emblem. Quality of the mirror polishing is excellent and the quality of the embossing of the shield is also excellent. Crown is correctly proportioned, partially recessed into the right hand flank. 100 metres of hermetic seal is strong specification. It's a pushable crown versus screw down crown. However, I'm not going to be critical because this is not a dive piece. One doesn't need a screw down crown on a daily wear or potentially dress piece. Pushable crown does suffice. What I like about it is it's large enough to be grippy and tactile, easy to get good purchase on with one's index finger or thumb, but it's not too large. So when you flex the wrist, the crown doesn't dig into the back of the hand. That's beneficial. So as it's a pushable crown in the closed position, one can manually wind the Frederique Constant calibre manufacture FC-718 automatic to its maximum 38-hour power reserve. In terms of smoothness, it feels equally smooth to a Solita calibre SW200-1, Sopro calibre P024 or an ETA calibre 2824-2 respectively. Doesn't feel rough or gritty, doesn't feel too stiff. One can feel the tension in the mainspring gradually building up to its maximum 38 hours, so it feels pleasant to manually wind. So let's test the world time complication, also the date complication, and setting the time and hacking. So pulling the crown out to the first click position is the date complication. Now before I do that, I'm going to move the pencil minute hand out of the way so you can see it better. So pulling the crown out to the first click position is the quick set date complication. So if you look at the sub dial at 6, that's the date complication. Rotating the crown clockwise advances the date complication with a quick set. So it clicks. Now the clicking isn't loud and audible as per an NH35A or SW200-1, which we'll all be familiar with. It's light and it feels refined. What I like is the alignments, both on the Arabic numerals for the days of the month and also the dots for the other days of the month. The hand for the dates, it sets bang on the centre of the Arabic numerals, bang on the centre of the dots for the days of the month. And all 31 days, all 31 dates, they are clearly legible. The Arabic numerals, the printing is sharp and crisp, it's high definition, the font isn't too thick and blurry, but it is large enough to be clearly legible. Nice textured finish in bronze, which is very aesthetically pleasing. So very easy to set the date. Clicks over with a positive click, rather like the date complication on an SW200-1. That's the feeling of it. And it feels lighter than an NH35A. Doesn't have a loud audible click, but you can feel the clicks via the crown. So very easy to set, feels precise, and it does feel pleasant to operate when you're setting the dates. And I like the alignment of it in particular. Now, when we're in the date setting position for the sub dial, when you rotate the crown in the opposite direction, anti-clockwise, this advances the world time complication. So there are two rings around the dial. The outer ring is for the world time, which has 24 countries, and the inner ring is for 24 hours, rather like a GMT bezel. And the inner rotating ring for the 24 hours with Arabic numerals, 24 Arabic numerals, we have two portions, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in brown for night, and 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in cream for day, rather like a GMT bezel, which has a Pepsi bezel in blue and red, blue denoting night, red denoting day, from 6 to 6. So legibility is good. So rotating the crown anti-clockwise advances it. So how you read it is, you look at 12 o'clock, the double applied indices on the dial. You look above the double applied indices at 12, we're now on London, and I'm going to move it round to New York. So each of the 24 countries on the world time complication click with a heavy positive click. It's loud, it's audible, the alignment is good. Each country aligns bang on the centre of the 12 o'clock index on the dial. Indices, it's a pair of indexes. So, clicks over. Now I'm now going to bring it round to London. And I like the feeling of it. I like the sound of it, loud audible clicks, but I also like the feeling of it. The alignment is good. Each of the countries aligns bang on the centre of the dial at 12 o'clock. So we're now on New York. If you look above the double indices at 12 o'clock, you can see we are now on New York. So I've moved it around from London to New York, and then what you do is you set the 24-hour ring. So what you do is you pull it out to the second click position. This hacks the movement. Now if you look at the second hand, you can see it's now stopped dead, so therefore it's possible to set the time precisely to the second with the caliber manufacturer FC-718. We're now in the time setting position as normal. Second click on the crown. You can cycle through the 12 hours as normal to set the time. Feels smooth, clockwise and anti-clockwise. There's an almost immediate response to the pencil minute hand. You don't need to take up a lot of slack. There's less slack than an SW200-1 or a P024-2 or an ETA 2824-2 to put it into perspective. Feels refined. Now you can see when you rotate the hands both clockwise and anti-clockwise, that also rotates the inner 24-hour ring, and the cream portion from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. is daylight or daytime, and the brown portion is nighttime. So you can adjust the ring simply by cycling through in the time setting position. And if you look at the ring for the 24 hours in cream and brown, it works the same direction. So to clarify, when you rotate the crown clockwise, it makes the hands rotate anti-clockwise, but it makes the inner 24-hour ring around the dial rotate in the same direction. So clockwise on the crown, the ring rotates clockwise, as you can see. And it feels smooth. Doesn't feel rough or gritty, doesn't feel too stiff. It's medium resistance, and I like the smoothness of it. And it feels the same clockwise and anti-clockwise. When you rotate the crown anti-clockwise, it makes the 24-hour ring rotate anti-clockwise. So therefore it's intuitive. And it's very easy to become accustomed to. That's what I like about it. So to clarify, often well-timed complication pieces with a date complication, they have recessed pushers in the left-hand flank. So in order to operate the well-time, you have to depress the pusher on the flank using a tool, or alternatively a toothpick, for example. And of course, this is an inconvenience because if you're traveling or you just simply want to set it, you have to use a tool or a toothpick. You have to carry that with you. What I like about this piece, there are no pushers recessed into the flank. Everything is done off the crown. Hacking the movement, manual winding, setting the time, setting the date complication, setting the well time complication, and setting the 24-hour ring. So it's intuitive, but everything is done off 2 clicks on the crown. And it's as you would expect, because first click is the date complication, as one would expect. Also operates the well time complication, so that's intuitive, rather like setting a day date complication. And putting it out to the second click hacks the movements, which again is normal. It's what one is used to. And you can then set the time and of course set the 24-hour ring, which is rather like a GMT bezel because of the 2 portions from 6 AM to 6 PM in cream for daytime and 6 PM to 6 AM in brown for nighttime. It's simple, and that's what I like about it. Frederique Constant deserve credit because they've created a complicated in-house calibre with a well-timed complication, date complication, has hacking, has manual winding, it's automatic, but it's simple because there are only 2 clicks on the crown and one doesn't need to press a pusher on the flank. One doesn't need a tool. It's very simple to use. Even without downloading the owner's instruction manual or scanning the QR code to download it, you can simply do it intuitively. And I like that kind of simplicity. Works very well. So backplay is good, less backplay than an SW200-1. There's an almost immediate response to the pencil minute hand. So I'll set it at 10 past 10. Pushing it back in, it's got a nice positive click and that restarts the movement. So second hand begins to sweep around the dial at the characteristic smooth sweep of 4 Hz. You'll know this from my previous reviews. I prefer 4 Hz because it doesn't stutter or judder as per 3 Hz, running at 21,600 vibrations per hour. 4 Hz is more aesthetically pleasing, running at 28,800 vibrations per hour. The other thing I like about 4 Hz is it's the perfect balance for an automatic between power reserve and accuracy. So to clarify, when one extends power reserve, often one has to sacrifice accuracy. That's the negative. When one reduces power reserve, one can refine accuracy to chronometer limits, such as COS or METAS. However, often brands, when they use an automatic, when they extend the power reserve, what they'll do is they'll reduce the frequency from 4 Hz to 3 Hz. They'll reduce the vibrations per hour from 28,800 down to 21,600 vibrations per hour. That's beneficial for high power reserve movements with 65 or 80 hours, for example. The negative is then they sacrifice accuracy. 4 Hz really is the perfect balance between accuracy and power reserve. And of course it's more aesthetically pleasing because the second hand doesn't stutter or judder. This has 38 hours, which is perfectly acceptable, but it is chronometer accurate, which I'll detail when I discuss the movement. So they've chosen the correct frequency and beat rate. So let's discuss the movement used and then I'll give you a wrist shot. So, just bear with me, I'll undo the deployment. So, exhibition case back displays the manufacturer calibre very well. So, to clarify, this is not a decorated or modified ETA or Solita calibre. This is a Frederique Constant calibre manufacturer FC-718 automatic. So it has well-timed complication, date complication, hacking and manual winding. 26 joules. It runs at 28,800 vibrations per hour and a frequency of 4 Hz. Has hand winding and hacking, which is used for complications, quick set date, and also well-timed complication, which works well as I've demonstrated. 38-hour power reserve is perfectly acceptable, and it's regulated in 5 positions in-house by Frederique Constant to chronometer accuracy of -4 to +6. This is running consistently at +3 seconds per day. +3 is well within the chronometer limits of -4 to +6. So very accurate calibre. What I like about it is the decoration is fantastic. Pelage finishing, and we've got milled circles on the main plate, blued screws. Now, to clarify, these are proper blued screws. They're not painted blue, they're not anodised blue, they are heat treated blue. And that's excellent. Also, they've engraved the main plate with Swiss made, 26 joules manufacture, and of course the Frederique Constant shield. And they've also inlaid the engraving with gilt to give it a high tier level finishing. Skeletonized gilt rotor, and of course it's embossed with Frederique Constant manufacture. Stellar. Even below the balance wheel, we've got pelage finishing, and it's high definition. So the decoration on this calibre says to me high tier level. It says 10,000 plus euro movement finishing, but it's not a 10,000 plus world time complication piece. It's a mid-tier piece at 4,795. Excellent to see an in-house calibre at this price point. It fully justifies the price point of the piece. So I'll give you a wrist shot and you can see how it fits on my 8-inch wrist. And just bear with me, I'm going to select the final hole, and then I'll take off my Concord 40 and I'll show you the fit. So this will fit from a 6 to a maximum 7.5 inch wrist size. Now on the longest hole, I can slide an index finger beneath it, so this will fit up to a maximum 8-inch wrist size, but realistically 7.5, because as you can see, it's 1 inch too short to engage the end of the strap with the two keepers. So 6 inches to 7.5. Alligator leather strap has an aggressive taper, which works very well with the tonneau case shape and integrated lugs. I like the aggressive taper. Feels soft and supple, like a Halloween shell cordovan strap, alternatively Hirsch calf leather strap. This does have wrist presence, as one would expect, because it's a 41mm, but it's a compact case. So although it is a large piece at 41, it is suitable for a 6 to 7 inch wrist, and it's equally suitable for a 7 to 8 inch wrist respectively. 41 does give satisfying wrist presence, but it lacks heft. That's what I like about it. This is only 99 grams on the alligator leather strap. So although it's large at 41, I would expect this to be in excess of 100 grams. It's only 99. What I like about it is compact lug to lug. It's only 45, so it's 3mm below the sweet spot, but I'm not going to be critical of that because it has a tonneau case and we do have integrated lugs, as you can see. This does need a shorter, more compact case with the integrated lugs, otherwise there would be overhang, particularly on a shorter 6 to 7 inch wrist. So this is good. 45 is good for a 6 to 7 inch wrist. 45 lug to lug is also good for a 7 to 8. It's a compact 41mm head of the piece. What I like about it is, although it has a double dome sapphire crystal and an exhibition case back with 100 meters, it's not too thick. This is only 13.1, so needless to say, this easily slips underneath a shirt cuff. You'll know this from my previous reviews. 13mm and below is the sweet spot to easily slip underneath a shirt cuff if you wear business shirts. Needless to say, at 13.1, it's just 0.1mm above the sweet spot. So although it's 41 diameter, it will easily slip underneath a shirt cuff. Therefore, it's a practical daily wear piece which could potentially be worn as a dress piece. Proportions of the case are fantastic. 13.1 is what I like about it, and also the lack of heft at only 99. Now, I'll clarify about the deployment, what I like about it. If you look at the inner portion, it's thin. Also, it's got good curvature. This is not a thick slab portion, and it's not rectangular like a block. You can see it's got nice curvature for a 6 to 7 inch wrist, nice curvature for a 7 to 8, and the right hand portion goes inside the left hand portion, so when it closes they don't overlap, it fits together inside. And this is good because it's got similar fit to a buckle and tang. The actual deployment isn't too proud, as you can see. If the strap were longer, I could engage it in the two keepers to show you, but that's how it will look. So you can see, although it's a deployance versus a buckle and tang, it's not too thick. And this is good. The strap isn't too bulky and there isn't an abhorrent gap beneath it, even though it's a deployance versus a buckle and tang. We've got that nice snug fit. This is very good. They've done a good job with the proportions, and of course the skeletonized shield for the Frederique Constant Shield emblem is a delight with these skeletonized bridges it's mounted on. Very comfortable strap. Doesn't require any breaking in, although it's a thick padded strap. It does feel soft and supple like a Halloween shell cordovan strap, and of course the alligator debossing pattern to it looks aesthetically pleasing for a daily wear piece. Very good looking strap, and it is soft and supple like a Halloween shell cordovan strap or Hirsch calf leather strap. Dial is excellent. I like the bronze finish to it, and I like the brown Worldtime ring around it, and also the two portions, cream and brown, for the 24-hour inner rotating bezel. The textured finish to the subdial is clearly legible, but also adds interest, and it complements the textured embossed globe, which is a characteristic or design element of the Worldtimer series. So it's excellent. Sorry, not Worldtimer series, the Highlife series. So fantastic. The only change I would make is change the blue AR coating to clear, because as you can see, one gets the characteristic blue hue, but that's just the way it is. I think clear AR coating would be beneficial. I like the low dome with the double dome sapphire crystal. It does complement the domed bezel and the curvature of the tonneau case. It's a good looking piece. Comfort level and feel good factor are good. 99 grams means it feels weightless on wrist, feels very well balanced, doesn't feel top heavy, and the comfort level is very good because of the flat sapphire crystal. You can see how snug it fits the wrist. One doesn't have a large gap beneath the tips of the lugs. The tonneau case wraps around the wrist very well. Curvature is good. It doesn't sit on top of the wrist like a thick slab of 316L grade stainless steel. So let's look at the other bracelet and also strap, which is included as an alternative. So just bear with me. I'm going to put back on my Concord 40 and then I'll continue and then we'll do a Lume test. Right, so as an alternative to the alligator leather strap, it also comes with this H-link bracelet, which is brushed satin finished on the H-links, and the centre links are rectangles which are mirror polished. It's embossed with a Frederique constant shield. 2 button push triggers are mirror polished. So as you can see, butterfly clasp, excellent attention to detail. Flawless mirror polishing to the top side, underside and flanks. 2 button push triggers are heavily sprung loaded. They feel reliable and robust. And in the centre section, it's milled and we've got pelage finishing. And it's absolutely beautiful pelage finishing. This is high tier level. Underside is mirror polished to flawless standard. And we've got stainless steel engraved, as you can see. Fantastic finishing. No sharp edges to the undercuts, to the flanks. And the centre portions are deburred, so no sharp corners on the inner portions. Let's check the hinge pins. Left hand hinge pin articulates freely, doesn't feel stiff or kink, doesn't have excess play. Left hand inner hinge pin articulates freely, doesn't feel stiff or kink, doesn't have excess play. Right hand inner hinge pin articulates freely, doesn't feel stiff or kink, doesn't have excess play. Finally, right hand outer hinge pin articulates freely, doesn't feel stiff or kink, doesn't have excess play. Tight. Fantastic. What I like about it is the shield laps. So you close the left hand portion first, right hand portion overlaps, as you can see, and then the shield is flush inside the H for the 2 links coming together. Excellent. 2 button push triggers are heavily sprung loaded, opens freely. This is good. In terms of quality, build quality, quality control, finishing, this is high tier level. Pelage finishing, mirror polishing is stellar, hinge pins are all tight. This is the kind of butterfly clasp one would expect to see on a high tier bracelet on a piece costing 10,000 plus. This is not mid tier level, make no mistake. We're not looking at 500 to 5,000 euro here. This is 10,000 plus. Excellent. Underside is brushed satin finished throughout. And again, we've got the thing I like, which is the 2 levers on the quick release spring bars in the integrated lugs. You can see they have flats. The circular discs are flats rather than being slotted screw heads, and they're not too tall, so they don't scratch the wrist with slotted screw heads. These are smoother. So comfort level and feel good factor is enhanced. Quality of the finishing to the integrated N-link in the bracelet is stellar. On the top side, beautiful luster to the H-links. Nice fine grain satin finishing, and again aggressive taper from 25.5 down to 18, which is good. Centre section is mirror polished to a flawless standard. The centre rectangles add interest, nice curvature, and the flanks are mirror polished to a flawless standard, as you can see. So excellent, because the flanks of the tonneau case on the head of the piece are mirror polished, and the top of the tonneau case is brushed satin finished. So we've got good continuity. There's not a clash. For example, they haven't brushed satin finished the flanks of the bracelet, which would clash with the mirror polished flanks to the head of the piece. I like the H-link bracelet. Very aesthetically pleasing, beautiful luster. Now, no sharp edges to the top edge or the underside to the flanks. Doesn't pull arm hairs. Let's check the articulation. Articulates freely, doesn't feel stiff or kink. It's a fluid bracelet and it's not sloppy. Doesn't have excess play, so doesn't rattle. Let's check the other side. Articulates freely, doesn't feel stiff or kink. It's fluid, but doesn't rattle. Now, subjectively, I'm going to be critical of the use of push pins. I'd like to see 1.2mm screw pins used, because I consider push pins to be a production cost-cutting measure in order to maximise profit margin per piece. We're looking at a mid-tier piece, and we are looking at the upper end of the mid-tier, 500 to 5,000 euro price point, 4,795 euro respectively. Really, it's mandatory to have 1.2mm screw pins or 1.6mm screw pins at the mid-tier upper end, 5,000 euro. One can be magnanimous if this were a low-tier piece, between 0 and 500 euro, using push pins, but really, with the exception of Grand Seiko, industry standard is screw pins. So I'd like to see Frederique Constant update this from push pins as a production cost-cutting measure to screw pins. That would further enhance it. But on a positive note, it's fluid. Articulates freely, no sharp edges, finishing is stellar, beautiful luster to it, mirror polishing is good, and it's not sloppy, it doesn't rattle. The quality control, build quality, tolerances are all excellent. It's a very comfortable bracelet, and I like the aggressive taper, 25.5 down to 18. So as an alternative to the bracelet and the alligator leather strap, also comes with this rubber strap. Textured finish to it. It's got a grid formation to it. Flawless chocolate brown stitching to the edges as per the alligator leather strap. Smooth on the underside, and it's moulded to be perfectly smooth. There's a scallop or recess in it, which is good, enhances comfort, and it details 25.5, which is its maximum width. 115mm is the length. Again, we've got the quick release levers on the end links. Good to see solid stainless steel end links, which is good. Other side, 2 keepers, and they both slide. The first one isn't fixed. Buckle and tang is solid 3160 grade stainless steel, and it's engraved with a Frederique constant shield with high definition engraving. Flawless mirror polishing to the top side, underside and flanks. No sharp edges, no sharp corners. Nice curvature. Undercuts to the flanks are deburred very well. No sharp edge, no sharp corners. Nice heavy gauge to it, and I'm pleased to see it's signed versus sterile. And the underside again is perfectly smooth, nicely moulded with a debossed Frederique Constant shield emblem, Frederique Constant Geneva, and again we've got 25.5, which is the width, and then 75mm is the length. So again, this will fit, same as the alligator leather strap, from a 6 to 7.5 inch maximum. There are enough holes in it to size this from a 6 to 7.5. Just the same as the deployant on the alligator leather strap. It's FKM floor rubber, so it's stiffer than silicone rubber, but more soft and supple than natural rubber or nitrile butadiene. Perfect compromise. You'll know this from my previous reviews. I like FKM floor rubber because it's more durable and robust with daily wear and tear than silicone rubber, which is softer. And the benefit is it's softer and supple, more supple than natural rubber or NBR, nitrile butadiene rubber. FKM is the perfect compromise. Looks good, feels good, and it's incredibly durable versus silicone rubber. This is a high quality FKM floor rubber strap, and good to have the option. So one can have this chocolate brown FKM floor rubber strap, which is textured with the integrated stainless steel end links, as an alternative to the H-Link, that's the right way up, H-Link bracelet with the Frederique Constant shield, and this is very aesthetically pleasing. So it's good to have those alternatives to the alligator leather strap, which is fitted to the head of the piece. And I like all 3 options. They all look good. They all suit this piece. Right, so let's do a Lume test, and we'll see how the Lume performs when it's charged up to the absolute maximum. So as always, I'm going to use my 100 UV LED torch to charge it up to the absolute peak. Right, so that's now fully charged, and as you can see, it has not disappointed. Now, when I say it has not disappointed, I'm referring to the hands. So we've clearly got C3 Super Lume Nova on the pencil hands. They are stellar. We're clearly looking at 5 to 6. However, the dial has disappointed. That's the point I'm making. Because the applied indices, which are mirror polished, they do have C3 Super Lume Nova, and I'll clarify this. If I shine the UV torch on it with 100 UV LEDs, you can see the double applied indices at 12 and the other indices do have C3. But we're clearly looking at 2 to 3 layers. I would say not even a maximum 3 to 4. Disappointing. There's room for improvement, because if you look at the difference in the potency of the exciter, in daylight there's a perfect colour tone match. They both look white. On the indices and the hands, they don't look more cream or white. But now you can see in the dark the difference, because the pencil hands have 5 to 6. Potency of the exciter is stellar. Indices are quickly fading. I think we're looking at a maximum of 2 to 3. Definitely not 3 to 4. Definitely not 5 to 6. They are Lumes, but when I take away the UV torch, you can see they immediately begin to fade. One could be magnanimous about this kind of performance if this were a low-tier piece, between €0 and €500. One would have to be realistic and expect some production cost-cutting measure in order to maximise profit margin per piece. We're looking at a mid-tier piece, Swiss-made, and this is at the upper end of the mid-tier. Mid-tier is 500 to 5,000, so we're at the upper end, €4,795. That's the point I'm making. One cannot be magnanimous at this price point. It has to be 5 to 6 on the dial, has to be 5 to 6 on the hands. So you can see the difference. Potency of the exciter is lacking on the indices. That's the point I'm making. 2 to 3 layers is just not good enough. Hands are excellent. They are stellar. We're looking at 5 to 6. So I'd simply like to see an additional 3 to 4 layers applied on the indices. And if that means engraving the indices deeper, so be it. But it needs to have a full 5 to 6 to match the handset, because in daylight, the hands match the indices. They're white. But you can see in the dark, one can see the hands, but that's not really beneficial because you can't register the hands against indices to read the time. So, of course, one has to be magnanimous about the Date complication, subdial being large at 6 o'clock. Of course, they're not going to be able to fit in indices either side of it. That's fair enough. I'm not going to be critical of that, the lack of symmetry. But if you look at the indices which are applied, they could make them larger, they could engrave them deeper, and they could apply another 3 to 4 layers to bring it up to 5 to 6. So disappointing on the dial. Handset is good, dial is not good enough. That's the negative I want you to be mindful of. So, last I'll summarise the piece. What do I think of it overall? Well, when I'm considering reviewing a watch on my channel, the watch meets 2 criteria. It should be both excellent quality and excellent value at the respective price point. So, mid-tier piece, mid-tier is €500 to €5,000. This is at the upper end, €4,795 with the 2 additional bracelets and straps included. I'm going to declare it excellent quality, and I'm going to declare the value as okay. Now, I can't say excellent quality and excellent value. I can't say excellent quality and good value because of the one shortcoming, which is the dial. The C3 superluminova, 2 to 3 layers on the indices, as I showed you in the Lume test. That is the one negative that needs to be improved upon, and then I would upgrade it to excellent quality and good value, or alternatively, excellent quality and excellent value. I do appreciate this comes with 2 years of warranty, which can be extended to 3 years, which is exceptional. That does add value to the piece, because usually mid-tier pieces are only covered with 2 years of warranty, which is the industry standard. The other thing that adds value is it does come with an H-link bracelet, alligator leather strap, and also FKM floor rubber strap as alternatives. So that again adds value, because you have the leather strap, rubber strap and bracelet included. Now, above all else, what adds value to this piece, which justifies the price point of it, and this is why I say excellent quality, it's the in-house calibre, because as I've detailed, we're not looking at a decorated or modified ETA or Sellita calibre. This is an in-house calibre. It's a manufacturer calibre. And not only is it decorated to high tier level, €10,000+ level, with pelage finishing, milled circles, skeletonized gilt rotor, blued screws. It's decorated to high tier level. Technically, it's excellent because it's a complicated calibre. Well-timed complication, date complication, hand winding, hacking, 38 hours, chronometer accurate in 5 positions to +3 seconds per day. So it's a great looking calibre, also technically excellent, and what I like about it above all else is it's thin. Because normally well-timed calibers are thick. That's the problem. And of course, the piece then ends up being far too thick. This has a double dome sapphire crystal plus exhibition case back plus 100 meters. But it's not 14 or 15 millimeters. That's the point I'm making. It's 13.1. Its comfort level and feel good factor is therefore enhanced. So, thin in-house calibre, and it is a credit to Frederique Constant being able to produce their own movement in-house rather than buying in movements from Sellita or ETA and decorating or modifying them with a well-timed complication, for example. So the movement justifies the piece price point, and I would say yes, it's excellent quality due to the movements. The straps and bracelets included are also excellent quality. So all of these things add value, as well as the 2 to maximum 3 year warranty. Quality control, build quality, materials and finishing are all stellar throughout. No QC issues whatsoever. The only negative to be mindful of is the lack of C3 superluminova on the indices, but on the handset it is fantastic. So excellent quality, value is okay. I'm going to highly recommend it to your consideration. I hope you've enjoyed my review of the Frederique Constant Highlife Worldtime manufacturer, reference FC-718C4NH6. Please feel free to post your own comments below the video. Thank you for watching.